This is Money Moves on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Money Moves, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Stormy, Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you. Still to come this hour, our thoughts on the round one matchups for the college football playoff and some of the additional markets that are available ahead of the national championship. Coming up in 15 minutes, we'll look ahead to week 15 in the NFL as well. A handful of spreads and totals that are already on the move, including the NFC South clash coming up on Thursday night. But we also have one more game to close out Week 14 tonight,
Yes.
Monday Night Football, prime time. Pair of 8-win teams going head-to-head, Eagles and Chargers. Before we get to that, did want to check in on social media because we have had a lot of traction with some of our opinions the last couple segments, JVT.
Yeah. Where do you want to start? We got a lot of different areas in which we have commentary on.
Well, the one you're most fired up about, it appears, is the Ohio State thing, which it was instant. It was instant. I said, I cannot wait for your Twitter to light up, and it did.
See, this is why you do call me crazy, right? That is the reason why. So whiny fans like Jason can get in my mentions and be like, oh, you're not giving Indiana enough credit. You're saying they're going to throw the game. Like, that's not what I said. I said that Ryan Day is not going to put his best stuff on tape in a Big Ten championship game. As we already stated, we want to win it. Yes, Indiana deserves credit. I actually thought they beat them up pretty well. Their offensive line looked great. They performed what they needed to. But if you're in that situation, by the way, I'm willing to bet Curt Cignetti probably did the same thing. I'm willing to bet that Cignetti sat on a couple of things that he didn't want to use in the Big Ten championship game so that they can again go forward. My comment about call me crazy and Ryan Day was geared toward the people, or focused toward the people who, after a 14-1-1 ATS run from Ohio State that dated back to the national championship run, we're calling him a fraud and saying he was exposed.
Come on.
Like, it's ridiculous. Like, we can be reactive as a society. I understand that. But to just wait for the one moment in which Day, who had been on an incredible run with his team dating back to last year's college football playoff, to then go, this guy's a moron, get him out of here. Like, folks, we don't have to react like that to every little blemish on a resume. It's fine.
I do also just want to tag this and say, because we haven't given the kudos to Indiana, how freaking cool for that program that has lived in squalor for such a long time. First Big Ten outright title since I think it was 67 was the number that was going around. And for Curt Cignetti to revamp that whole program in just 2 years as quickly as he had, and to recognize last year where their faults were in their fronts, and to come out and retool that unit and have the performance they did. Just very, very cool all around. Likely Heisman Trophy winner now, and Fernando Mendoza as well. And so just a very, very cool story. And I'm sure Wes Reynolds is running around like a lunatic with excitement, as he rightfully should. Sky High also tweeted at us, if Likely's touchdown catch doesn't count, then every toe tap reception where all that matters is control of the ball and 2 feet in bounds should be moving forward. Ruled incomplete.
Yeah,
it was just such a bad call.
Yeah,
they have to figure that out.
Again, when you have what doesn't help is having the Aaron Rodgers moment in that same game.
Yes.
Like you can't have those two things at all. And by the way, many people are pointing out, first off, that I'm right. Second, that when you look at you as a person, it is shocking that you have not heard Will Smith's Miami.
Yeah, so this is another tweet that came our way from Torch D15. Said, Stormy, have you ever partied in the city where the heat is on all night on the beach till the break of dawn? And I said, JV, I'm assuming this is Will Smith. Is that the same song?
Yes, that is the same song.
I haven't done it. I'm not cool enough.
Yep.
I am going to Miami, though. National championship coming up.
Now you have to listen to it.
I think that's what I'll have to do.
At least
that'll
on the
be
way there at one point.
on repeat as soon as I land and I'm driving to the hotel. Gotta roll with the windows down. Okay, we mentioned Monday Night Football. Eagles minus 2.5, still some shops, but 2 is the prevailing number in SoFi Stadium, taking on the Chargers. Total 41.5 tonight. Eagles looking to bounce back after the back-to-back losses against the Cowboys and Bears. Chargers, meanwhile, 1-4 their last 5. All eyes, as we mentioned earlier, are going to be on Justin Herbert and how the offense operates, with him dealing with the left non-throwing hand injury. Had to have surgery on it a week ago, Monday. Didn't take any snaps, under center after the injury in that game against the Raiders last week. He was practicing it as much as he could at practice this past week. At least available to the media, didn't look great. So how might that change things tonight? We'll have to wait and see. From a prop market betting perspective, what stood out to you tonight?
Well, it's the running backs for L.A. I guess the question just becomes, are we going to play this guessing game of like who it's going to be? With Hampton getting the practices in this week, and it looks like he's going to be out there. But you go back to what is going to transpire on the field. If you're LA, how are you going to attack this with Herbert's hand, with on the other side, a banged-up defensive line with no Jalen Carter? Philadelphia with Carter coming into this game, 19th in opponent expected points added per rush. You look at across the board, the way they've defended the run, they've been pretty below average. So you do wonder if the strategy here, don't want to put Justin Herbert in too much danger. You kind of want to put out there that you're going to be a team that's not going to allow him to take some of these hits. Let's go ahead and just run the ball against a team that's 19th in expected points added per rush by opponents, and against a team that is 29th in adjusted line yards allowed per carry, or 16th in power situations and short yardage situations. I feel like that's probably going to be the strategy, is it not?
So with that, I guess it's just who's going to be the beneficiary of it.
That's why it's funny. So I used one of your strategies today. I am on Monday, Sirius XM Fantasy with Kendall Valenzuela and Adam Ronis. And they asked me about props today. And I was like, well, I want to ask you because I want to know for my own selfish worth, like, what's going to happen here? And so I asked them, like, what do you do? What's going to happen? And their essential analysis was it's probably still going to be relatively split, that you could look at both of them here.
Okay.
So from a prop standpoint, both of them are relatively close together. If you have the numbers for you, think it's what? Hampton's floating around like mid-40s, if I remember correctly, at looking at some of the numbers for him for rushing yards.
37.5 for Hampton, 36.5 for Vidal.
Okay. So, you're pretty close there, and those are pretty low totals in terms of rushing yards for both of those guys.
It's weird that there's, at least on DraftKings right now on the live page, there's an attempts number for Hampton, but not for Vidal.
What is it for Hampton?
10.5.
Yeah. I'd rather go yards, and I feel like they can have some success here. Now, the other interesting thing is, how I like to play these longest rushes. We've been doing this a lot.
Yes.
I'd actually lean a little bit toward under on some of the longest rushes. If you really look at the numbers for Philly, on a down-to-down basis, they haven't really been great against the run, but they are pretty good at bottling up explosive runs. Mm-hmm. You look at second-level yards per carry, they're 14th. Open field yards per carry, they're 12th. So they do a pretty good job of not getting gashed. But generally, you'll stay on track if you're running the ball, which is why I'd probably lean toward Hampton going over those yards.
Okay. I was actually going to ask you, speaking of the longest rush prop, I was looking at Saquon under 17.5. Just looking at some of the Chargers run defense numbers, they've only given up 5 runs all season of 20 or more yards. Lane Johnson out up front as well. Saquon has already had his struggles. I know with him, he can break one off for 1,000,000 yards in a second, but it's not really something he's done a lot of lately, and missing such an important piece up front for the third straight game in a Chargers run defense, it's actually pretty good in that area. That was something I was looking at, and I was also looking at maybe his receiving under, because the Chargers defensively have held opposing running backs to fewer than 30 receiving yards their last 3 games. I feel like they're going to try to get him involved in the pass game. So the receptions number I actually could see maybe is more of an over, that they're trying to get the ball to him out the backfield, just like some quick opportunities against a pass defense that's so good, especially with preventing the downfield stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure they'll go anywhere necessarily. Thoughts?
Okay. I think it makes some sense if you want to attack it from that range. I didn't know what I wanted to do with them overall and how you're going to attack it. So I think that's the one that makes the most sense.
Any other things from the weekend that we haven't touched on yet you feel like we're missing the 8 ball that we haven't?
Before we move off on Monday Night Football, I forgot to bring this up.
Yeah.
You bring this up too. Total open 43.5 down to 41.5.
Yes.
Kind of want to bet that under still.
Well, are you doing the SGT? You already bet the Chargers.
I feel like that's your thing.
Let's write down the numbers and we'll monitor.
I feel like that's your thing.
We'll monitor.
Because also, I don't have the same magic that you do for the same game teasers. As I threw out there on Sunday morning, hey, man, teasing the Titans up.
How's this lose?
Teasing the total up and getting it under. How are we losing that thing? And it did indeed lose. So I don't know if I've got the same feel for the same game teasers as you do.
Dude, I still can't get over how lucky and how good it felt for the Packers to win yesterday.
Cathartic.
To not only cover the spread, because yes, that was one of the bets that we both ended up having, but for them to win and the SGT to hit the under 50, just chef's kiss. Your girl needed it. To go back to week 14, though, what we saw on Sunday, you mentioned it in passing earlier. The Rams with a massive win, them in a bounce back spot after the loss to Carolina. They were exercising some demons against the Cardinals yesterday. And with that, Matthew Stafford is now a minus 180 favorite once again in the MVP market.
I can't believe this. It's every week we're just going to do this here. He should be the favorite. If you want to make it minus 180 the rest of the way, that's fine. He should be the favorite to win MVP. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's any question about this point right now for Stafford. Again, the most basic of statistical lines. We're talking about a dude that might throw for over 4,000 yards, have over 40 touchdown passes, and fewer than 10 interceptions. He is going to maybe be the quarterback of the 1 seed in a harder path. There's no question about that. I just what makes me laugh is, again, going back to what we talked about, the guessing game that is every week with MVP in this market is absolutely hilarious. They're not swinging back and forth in this volatile fashion. And I'm willing to bet next week if, Drake May's first performance, I don't know what time he's going to play, but if he's got the first game and then Stafford plays later.
Keep tabs on the market.
Right. You'll go in and you'll be able to find it. I will say, though, the ridiculous nature of these swings, you can at least set yourself up now to at least lock in a profit, like we talked about, right? So we have plus 125 on Stafford. You can come back if you wanted and get Drake May at 2-1. You can just sit there and lock some stuff in, but it is ridiculous how often this swings back and forth.
Also, incredible day for Puka Nacua. Had 136 of the eventual 167 receiving yards all in the first half. A 2-touchdown day for him as well. Keeping it in the division, the Seahawks overcame a really slow start to rip off an eventual 31-3 second half against Atlanta to win and cover there, no sweat. And then the Bills rally from down 10 with less than 8 minutes to go. Josh Allen has the 40-yard touchdown run. Christian Benford, pick 6. Burrow throws a pick 6 and an interception on back-to-back plays to cost them that win. Bills win 39-34. Also, VSiN Pro subscribers now have exclusive access to our new AI player prop projections as we talk through some of those numbers on Monday Night Football, powered by Opta AI, the trusted source behind elite soccer analytics in the UK. You get data-driven projections for QBs, wideouts, and running backs. Plus, we've got NBA player prop projections now as well, all compared directly to the DraftKings lines to help you find value. VSiN.com/subscribe. You get unlimited access to it all. We'll be right back.
Odds move up, odds move down. Let's see where the odds are moving today, and do you approve this move?
Let's get to it as we welcome you back to Money Moves on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. While Week 14 is not yet in the books, we still have Monday Night Football to come tonight. We're already looking ahead to the Week 15 slate because there are a number of spreads and totals shifting along here, including Thursday Night Football coming up. Big, important result pending in the NFC South as the Falcons pay a visit to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucs, fresh off that loss yesterday to the Saints, go from 6-point favorites at open down to just 4.5 at home against the Falcons. Bucs coach Todd Bowles did say today Mike Evans, Jalen McMillan, and Tristan Wirfs are in play for Thursday.
Yeah, they got to get healthy. I mean, this team's clearly not the team that we expect, or at least that got the season started. And Atlanta, I mean, look, I don't really know what to make of Atlanta overall. They've been all over the place. There's no shame in getting smoked by the Seattle Seahawks, but it's hard to get a read of where this team at when you have all of these different results. But big one for the Buccaneers because that cat breath on the back of their neck. Carolina Panthers bearing down, buddy. That's right, on the other side.
And Baker Mayfield on the podium yesterday had this to say about trying to get right with the short week.
Short week's about executing the little things, fundamentals. It's not like you have a full week to game plan, to scheme a lot of things up. So it's about who does their job the best on your bread and butter stuff, and you just got to execute. It's all the little details really, really matter on a Thursday. Some of the smallest game plans are when they're executed really well on a Thursday night, you have the biggest production. So that's what we're going to look for.
We'll see if they can get it done. Total there sitting 44.5 as well. And you mentioned those Carolina Panthers. When we talked about the division last week, Tampa Bay was a $5-ish favorite in the division. Still odds on at a hefty price, but cut down to minus 300 with 2 head-to-heads pending against the Panthers. Still feels too rich for me, doesn't it?
I'm with you. I mean, look, again, maybe they're going to get better in terms of availability, but I just don't really buy that there's this gap between these two teams right now. Carolina has proven that it can go paw to paw with any of the big names in the NFL. Why would we believe that they couldn't win this division and take it? That the likelihood is much shorter that the Buccaneers are going to win this thing.
So how about this one? And obviously injuries impacting this spread, but the look ahead for Seattle hosting your Indianapolis Colts was 3.5 in favor of the Seahawks at home.
Yeah.
when I made this graphic earlier, it was 11.5. Now we're out to 12.5-point favorites for the Seattle Seahawks. Daniel Jones, we know, shut down for the year. Shane Steichen confirmed that this morning. He will miss the rest of the 2025 season. He also said Riley Leonard now dealing with a knee injury as well.
Yeah, that's why we're up to 12.5 now here for Indianapolis and Seattle. And I would say, let's see if we can put this up. Let's just say that Seahawks minus 20.5 at plus 240, I don't think is the craziest thing in the world here. Going with some alternate lines. Look, if this is going to get ugly, it's going to get ugly. Whether it's Leonard or whether it's Rippon, their offense is going to be stuck in the mud. They're probably going to turn the ball over. One of the things that we witnessed yesterday, we talked about it and I made a comment on the air. What makes Seattle so special is not just their defense. It is their special teams, which is opportunistic. We watched Rashid Shaheed return a 100-yard kickoff for a touchdown. This team is complete in all facets. Jackson Smith-Njigba finally woke up in the second half, had a couple of touchdowns, just under 100 yards. This could get ugly really quickly, I think, for the Indianapolis Colts this coming Sunday. And if there was a team that you would willingly go out there and lay some alternate lines with, it would be Seattle, because they have done it to almost every one of their bad opponents.
Also a 4-point swing on the total in this one, from 46.5 down to 42.5. Speaking of it may be getting away from a team, we got another 12-point spread in Jacksonville as the Jags host the New York Jets. We saw a blowout in favor of the Miami Dolphins yesterday, 34-10. Tyrod Taylor suffers a groin injury on the 6th play of the game, so it's Brady Cook time, and a handful of injuries for the Jets coming out of that one. Defensive lineman Tyler Barron, their corner Thomas, linebacker Francisco Mauigoa, none of them returned in the game. And again, this spread from 9.5 in favor of the Jags out to 12.5. The total ticking down as well from 43.5 to 41.5. Do you approve these moves?
I mean, I think you kind of have to, just given where the Jets are at. I feel like this is a little rich for a team like Jacksonville to lay a number like this. I also do wonder, I know this might get, where are the Jets at right now? They're 3 wins. I'm just saying, you had the lone 1-win team in the NFL win a game yesterday. They're 2-11. There is a big race for the first overall pick here, and the Jets aren't dead yet.
Ooh.
At the very least, I don't think if guys are like, kind of healthy, you're probably telling them, take the week off, bud. Seriously, I made the joke yesterday. This has nothing to do with them, but I don't know who I was talking to. I think, but we're going to talk about the Raiders and Eagles from a totals perspective. If you're Tom Brady or anybody with power in that building, if you guys win one more game, I am firing everybody in this building. We need to be a 2-win team at the end of the year. You idiots. So you better lose every single one of these games moving forward. And I think the Jets probably should be in that scenario too.
All right, how about the Houston Texans, who are now riding a 5-game hot streak? They've won 6 of their last 7 and 8 of their last 10. Hosting an Arizona Cardinals team that just got absolutely roasted and toasted by the MVP favorite Matthew Stafford and company. Houston now from 6.5-point favorites to 9.5.
Some spots are showing 10.
Ooh.
This is an easy answer.
You're taking the points.
Of course. We're talking about...
I can read you like a book.
We're talking top of the market here. And by the way, look, so it's been thrown about a lot, and rightfully so, about the best team in the AFC is playing on Sunday night, and it's not the Kansas City Chiefs. I get it. Texans are hot. They've won 5 straight, right? They look great. Everything is fantastic. Texans are everything everybody wanted them to be. Folks, they still only averaged 4.1 yards per play yesterday. Their offense is still kind of hot garbage. So at some point, you're going to reach, when you're catching points in a lot of these scenarios, you're out at Indianapolis, you're catching points. You're out at Kansas City, you're catching points. You're taking on Buffalo at home, you're catching points. Those are all somewhat different scenarios, I would say, Stormy, than asking your Drek offense to come in here and win by this margin. That's a really big role change here for Houston.
Sure.
Their market rating, we talked about this on Friday. It's been improved by 6 points. I'm willing to bet by the time we get to Friday, it's going to be even higher. I just think that if we're talking about selling high, now's the time to potentially do it with an offense that still has not shown any growth, even during this winning streak.
And we'll need to keep tabs, too, on the Arizona Cardinals wide receiver room. Marvin Harrison, obviously missing this past week with the heel injury. Could he be in position to help uplift that offense a bit for the Cardinals? Bills and Patriots, we've seen this spread go back and forth between Patriots laying 1.5, Bills laying 1.5. So the market views this as a virtual pick'em in Foxborough. But the total's where we've seen the most movement, from 47.5 up to 50.5 with these two offenses.
Yeah, I think so. I do believe the Patriots deserve to be favored here. Look, let's be quite honest. if the Bengals don't completely melt down yesterday in almost every facet of that game, we're talking about the Bills losing that contest. Obviously, Joe Burrow with the weird lollipop pick 6. The subsequent pick after that on a tip pass of the 2 big runs for Josh Allen, one a touchdown, the other on a broken play to essentially seal the game. I think that Buffalo is still a pretty flawed team. I mean, we talked about that during the show yesterday. 3 first drives, 3 touchdowns for the Cincinnati Bengals. I think this is still a dynamic in which the Patriots deserve the respect at home, at the very least home field.
Okay. How about the Ravens and Bengals? More action in the AFC North coming up. Baltimore from a 3-point favorite on the look ahead down to just 1.5. Ravens and Bengals both coming off tough losses yesterday. Do you approve the move?
Give me Cincinnati. I mean, since Joe Burrow's been back, give me the Bengals against the Ravens.
5.5 yesterday.
Yep, give me the Bengals against the Bills, and give it to me again here for Joe Burrow's back. I'm sorry.
So you're laying the points with the Ravens yesterday, and your opinion has shifted that much. It finally caught up with you.
They're not playing the Steelers this week, are they?
Okay.
Come on now, they're playing Joey B. Look, Joe Burrow and the Bengals are a different team when they're playing. I think the market is slow to kind of catch up with this. The fact, look, and now Higgins because we got that news today, right? Higgins reported concussion-like symptoms. That came down like about 20 minutes ago. Would prefer that he's out there, but I do think Cincinnati, from a power rating standpoint, with this offense and with Joe Burrow now behind this offensive line, this is a different animal.
Okay. We've got the Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff Bowl coming up once again. Lions at the Rams. Rams out from 4.5-point favorites to 5.5 across most of the market. 6 I'm seeing at DraftKings and Pop in more places. Also big swing on the total. 5 points now from 50.5 to 55.5.
This is going to be a good one. I am excited. Man, I don't really know what to do. I mean, 4.5 to 5.5 is not that big of a deal, so yeah, it's fine.
Full 6, though, like I said, at DK.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you think it closes closer to 4 or closer to 6?
Like
4 or 6 would be more likely. Would the Lions get played here?
Can I say 5?
Yeah, sure. I guess I'm asking, will the Lions get played here? I'm beginning to be very curious. My initial thought was Rams, but we've been burned by 4.
I think that the way that the market views Los Angeles right now as the best team in the NFL, Super Bowl favorites, all of that stuff, they bounced back in a big way yesterday. As long as Matthew Stafford's not throwing a lot of interceptions, they're clicking at a different level than anybody else.
I'm also a little gun shy because I tried with Dallas and it didn't work on Thursday.
No.
So maybe I just don't have a good read on this Lions team.
A couple other totals on the move. Packers at Broncos from 41.5 up to 43.5. Your beloved Raiders in Philadelphia taking on the Eagles. We've seen this come down 2 points from 40.5 to 38.5.
Better lose this game. There's no question about it. Yeah, I think it makes sense. How many points are the Raiders
Geno
scoring?
Smith getting injured yesterday as well, did not return.
Is it a downgrade if it's Kenny Pickett?
Boy, was he trying at the end of the game.
Had a nice touchdown
He
pass.
was showing his stuff.
Yeah, had a nice throw. I don't know if it's a downgrade if it's
That
Pickett.
Portnoy video for the Raiders cover is hysterical.
It's ridiculous.
Pete Carroll needs to be investigated. On that note, we got to step
He said
aside.
he should have been murdered.
Right back.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back here on Money Moves, Stormy Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you. We ended last segment kind of jokingly talking about the result between the Broncos and Raiders as a meaningless end of game field goal ultimately gives the Raiders the cover what is a 24-17 final. Sure.
Can I will say really quickly, for those who don't understand, the move made sense. They had 5 seconds left on the clock. The hope is that, of course, it's very unlikely that you're going to kick the ball through the uprights, have to get the ball back, have to recover an onside. Something chaotic's going to have the upside. But they were hoping that they were going to get 1 second left on the clock so that they could at least execute the onside and try for some sort of ridiculous play to at least get a touchdown. For people who don't understand that, I'm very surprised by that, by not understanding at the very least the very basic logic of what the Raiders were trying to do.
Listen, in 2025, when everyone thinks the NFL is rigged and the betting, it's always against you, and of course Pete Carroll, he's in Vegas. Vegas knows, trying to get the cover, he knows the number, all that stuff. It's inevitable that these conversations are going to continue to come up. If you haven't, I highly recommend you listen to the rant from VSiN by the Books this morning from Jensen Lewis, who went off, and it was hysterical, talking about how you want to hear a bad beat. It's when the Rams have a blocked field goal that's run all the way back against the Eagles. Like, that's a historic bad beat. What happened yesterday is not. At the end of the day, it is players and coaches who still want to do everything they can to have a close game, to have an opportunity to put themselves in a position to win at the end. And for Kenny Pickett, who's still trying to figure out if he can earn a job in this league, do what he can to show that he can handle a 2-minute drill, right? Like, that's what it feels like to me.
I'd argue that was, this season, the second weirdest kicking decision at the end of a Raiders game. Let's go back 3 weeks ago. It is a 24-10 game. The Browns have the ball at the Raiders' 29-yard line, and Kevin Stefanski elects to punt the ball there from the Raiders' 29-yard line with the total in the balance, and he elects not to kick the field goal, but instead punt the ball, and so the Raiders are just going to have 3 plays and end it with 52 seconds left.
So, tough ending to the game, obviously, for anybody.
No, absolutely fixed. Pete Carroll was
just typical.
Was on the take.
He needs to be investigated.
You have no idea how many people responded to me. Because, by the way, Portnoy's video was very whiny. Like, what are we doing? Stop. But you don't know how many people responded with, he's right. Like, oh.
That's just spoken like somebody who lost their bet, okay? We all get ticked off when we lose, and especially in fashion like that where it's like it's a meaningless field goal. Why is this happening to me?
Right.
I get it. That said, there are some injury updates coming out of that game, most notably for the Raiders. Geno Smith exited with an injured right shoulder and a cut right hand. Pete Carroll, after the game, said from what he understood, it got locked up, but that their early test didn't reveal any damage. So still TBD what that means moving forward for Week 15. Tight end Ian Thomas also exited the game with a calf, and corner Kaibu Kelly injured his knee. Reports this morning it is a ruptured patella tendon. The upside, according to Mike Garafolo, is there was no ligament damage. So we'll see what that means moving forward.
I guess that's the silver lining. Okay, so I'm going to tell you now that Kenny Pickett plays this week. Is he an actual downgrade from Geno Smith?
So how much of what you've seen from Geno Smith you think is all Geno versus the offensive line?
I mean, I think a lot of it is Geno. The offensive line is not good, but the decision-making is absolutely ridiculous with some of these interceptions we've seen him throw.
So then probably not that much of a downgrade?
By the way, the offensive line, to your credit, I mean, it is part of the equation. If the offensive line is so poor and Geno Smith really isn't that good, that would all mean that, like, moving to Kenny Pickett is essentially a wash.
Oh, okay. We have the audio from Jensen. Can I play it real quick?
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
This is so good. Okay, Jensen Lewis this morning on VSiN's By the Books. Take a listen.
Get the hell off of, oh, my God, we need an investigation of Pete Carroll and the Raiders. Nowhere even near the conversation of an all-time bad beat. Don't even start with that crap. That is a horrible take from the people out there that think that's the case. And I'm coming at it from the former professional athlete standpoint. We are paid millions of dollars to do our job.
I'm here for it. And it went even longer, by the way. That's a short
a
short snippet. It went longer. Highly recommend if you want to go check out VSiN by the Books wherever you get your podcast, because the full thing was very, very good. Also, Money Moves available podcast. Watch and listen on your own time, whether it's on the podcast feed or on the VSiN Watch app.
Very good from Dave, letting his teammate work in the post there. It's a good host.
Okay, you want to shift gears here and get into a little more college football playoff, because we got into the anger and aggression and all of the issues with the selection committee, all of that.
Games are right around the corner.
Let's actually push it forward to the numbers now, shall we?
Yeah.
And we do have 4 games that are set, and there's nothing that any of you can do about it, okay? They're set.
You're going to watch them this weekend, right? They're coming up this
weekend.
week?
Next weekend. Boop. Next weekend.
Why are they so spread out?
Well, because they want to give you 2 weeks from the conference championship weekend.
So the buys, they're not going to play for nearly a month. It's pretty wild.
Yes.
It's pretty wild.
Which is why we saw that be detrimental to some teams last year.
I was going to say, you were on the sideline for one of the more shocking results, not in terms of just the actual win-loss, but in terms of the level of beatdown in the Rose Bowl that Oregon was handed.
What's funny, so I'm going to be on the sideline for the JMU at Oregon game. Mm-hmm. And I had some people messaging me saying, what?
You're like the opposite in Eugene.
Yes.
So
I've had
BYU
some people
loves
messaging
you.
me.
Okay.
Yes, where BYU is very upset that I wasn't flown out for the Big 12 championship game to just be there to see if the vibes could help.
Totally would have changed the result.
Oregon has not had great luck with me being on their sideline, not only in the Rose Bowl, but just in general. Like, I've been a part of some pretty big upsets, one of which at Stanford a few years ago when they were the number 3 ranked team in the country, got upset at the farm.
Okay, you know what I'm going to ask you.
And so there's a little bit of this. JMU getting 20.5 in the game at Autzen Stadium.
You know what I'm going to ask
week.
you to do
What?
now over the next couple of days.
Look through my
yes,
records.
I need you to go back and look.
I've also done a handful of JMU games when Kurt Cignetti was their coach, and they won all of them. And I think they covered all of the games that I did for them, too. So there might be something here.
Maybe we will unveil, again, the second greatest college football betting trend that is alive right now. I mean, I don't know. Is it safe to say that give me Oregon or give me death? Like, what are we doing here?
We talked about this yesterday, too. It feels like that. And we're seeing it move in that direction already to the full 21. It was 20.5 when we were on yesterday. And it feels like one of those things where this is just a David and Goliath situation. Sure. And I'm not sure that might be enough points. Although, as someone who's going to be on the sideline for it, I am hoping that is not the case.
Don't you hope for the opposite? Because don't you get more airtime if it's a blowout?
If I was on the winning sideline, potentially.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Yeah, you
so
break it up. You're going to have a specific sideline. Okay.
I'm very excited for my crew, by the way. I've never worked with Louis Riddick before, and he's going to be the analyst for that game. Bob Wischusen, who I've done some hockey with in the past, and one of my favorite sideline reporters, Chris Budden. So maybe we'll get some of them on the show coming up next week.
Yeah, I mean, maybe go alternate. You lay some alternate lines here. I think the worry for you is, as a lot of people thought, James Madison against Troy, that was going to be our final data point. Let's go beat them down. And then it didn't happen. Really kind of got lucky that Troy's quarterback got injured because that's when it really started
Then they started to pull away. They did have an opportunity late to potentially cover, but they knee it out as they should.
Yep.
But, yes, the only reason they even started to create separation was because of that injury, it felt like.
So do we really trust that against this Oregon team, which – this is no fault of James Madison's, but invoking what we just brought up, one would assume that Oregon is out for blood considering what they did in their last playoff game.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you've got to at least go out there with a very strong foot forward and say there's no way we could put forth another effort like we did last year.
Hopefully Dan Lanning doesn't remember I was on that game. So
they will.
That's all I'm hoping for.
You're going to be in the program notes again.
The other big spread, obviously, Tulane at Ole Miss. That's the 11-6 game. The Rebels laying 16.5, total 56.5. This is a rematch from the regular season. One of 2 rematches, actually, we have from the regular season because Alabama and Oklahoma going head-to-head once again as well. Ole Miss in the first meeting won by 35.
I mean, this is one where you can maybe make the case for the dog, only in that there's this big change in the Ole Miss staff. You know, what is
that? And you talk about improving teams. Tulane's a better version of themselves now than they were in the early season game.
Sure. I mean, and we have at least one point to show that the market last week was a little too low on Tulane, making them dogs there in that spot against North Texas. So there's something to Tulane being able to stay inside of this number. You know, I'm curious to see what changed with Ole Miss. Play calling, decision making. When you have a new guy that is in charge with not only running the defense, but also game management, calling timeouts, when to go for it, things of that nature. How much does that change the way Ole Miss plays in a game like this and moving forward should they win this game and move on?
Also, ladies and gentlemen, if you're ready to boost your bankroll, and you're listening to us, so of course you are, you got to check out Brocco as well, who's giving new depositors a 50% purchase bonus right now when you use our promo code VSIN at sign up. It's VSIN. Brocco's lines are live on our VSIN betting splits page right now, along with a couple other sports books, so you can see where the action is moving before you bet. Turn your bonus into an edge with insight that matters. Head over to playbrocco.com today, and again, use that promo code VSIN. Play Brocco, BRACCO.com today. Promo code VSIN. The spreads for the other 2 games, Alabama laying 1.5 at Oklahoma, total 41.5. And then what I think is going to be the best game of the weekend, number 10 versus number 7, Miami at Texas A&M. A 4-point spread in that one, total 51.5. But will Miami live up to earning the spot at Kyle Field?
Oh, and then we're going to do the thing where Miami's going to lose, and then a bunch of people like we do in March Madness. They didn't deserve to be in because they lost it. I'll take Miami +4.
When we come back, we can also look quickly at some of these to reach the CFP semifinal, to reach the title game, national championship odds, our final thoughts on Monday Night Football, and a recap of the best bets from the weekend. We'll get to it all as we wrap things up on Money Moves next.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSIN, the Sports Betting Network.
this Monday edition of Money Moves. Stormy, Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you live as always from downtown Las Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. As we wrap things up here before we look forward to the best bets of the night, let's hit the weekend recap, shall we, in college football and the NFL. What is the ooh?
I got a good stat for you.
Okay, go.
Barring a Chiefs miracle, this is from Micah Adams. This will be the first AFC championship game since 2011, without either Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes.
Is that real?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So from
That's a good stat.
From 2012 to 2019, Brady was in the AFC Championship game every single year. 2019, they both played against each other, and then Mahomes has been in every single one since.
Yeah.
So if they do not go on a run, this would be the first time since 2011 we have had an AFC Championship game free of either Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, for anyone who missed it, the Chiefs will need not only to run the table moving forward, but have a lot of help along the way as well. They're about plus 390 to make the playoffs. So in that 4-1 range for a team that's won 9 straight AFC West titles, a very different position for them, especially after all even if they don't win the Super Bowl appearances that they have had down the stretch. It's looking bleak right now in Kansas City.
So sorry to interrupt, but I thought it was a good stat.
All right, and let's go to the weekend recap, shall we?
You want to go first?
You go first.
Okay. College football, Georgia -2, Boise State -4. That is going to go down still. I keep saying this as the weirdest closing line and just weirdest line of this season, bar none. Boise State UNLV.
I'm so mad that I didn't make that an official play because I was banging the drum just like you were throughout the course of the show.
Right.
That number didn't seem high enough even when it got bet up to 5.5.
And even as we were going, we just kept saying, no, even now, you can still play it.
Yep.
Some spots close 6, but Boise State -4, Ohio State -4 does not get there. In the National Football League, Packers -6.5, Bengals, that turned into a sweat. Should have had no problems covering that dang number. Seahawks, Broncos, teaser gets there. Colts -1.5. They don't. It's a Chargers logo. And the Titans +4. They get there as well, win the game outright. So how about that? Relatively solid weekend.
Championship weekend did not go so great for me in college football. I laid it with JMU. We talked about that last segment. Walking down Narrative Street thinking that they were going to have to win by margin. Didn't need it. Thank you, Duke, to end up in position. So that is a loser. Did have Georgia as you did. The North Texas team total, not even close. Their offense that was supposedly one of the best, if not the best in college football on paper, did not show up at all against Tulane. The Jake Retzloff rush yards prop at +110 did end up getting home. Virginia can't get it done. BYU can't get it done. Anthony Calandria, thank you, UNLV. Anytime touchdown, he gets a couple. He had a good day considering UNLV struggled as much as they did.
Ran it on 3rd and 25. What do they do?
In the NFL, good day for teasers yesterday. 3-1 on the teasers. We also cashed in on the Seahawks and Packers laying 6.5. The props, not so much. The thought process with Quinshon Judkins was that we're going to be a run-heavy offensive attack in this spot, especially thinking they're going to be up in the game. That was not. They were in a trailing game state most of the way against the Tennessee Titans, who ultimately end up getting the win in that game. And then not an official play, but something I gave out on Kansas City radio yesterday ended up
there you go.
coming through pretty nicely as we talk about the Chiefs. I felt bad because I was saying to the city of Kansas City, I don't think your team's going to win today in a low-scoring affair, and that ended up coming through.
Can you do me a favor? Can you get my college football plays back really quickly, and then can we throw up Stormy's as well? We can put them in whatever order we want. But I just want to revisit something. So college football for Stormy and I, we can go Stormy first if it's easier for you. But I just want to show you something here that I think sticks out very nicely if we could get it. There we go. Okay, you see mine. You see, look at mine, right? Boise State -4, Georgia -2, Ohio State -4. Let me see Stormy's plays really quickly, if we could flip to that. What's with all the words, man? Cut it down. Mine's nice and neat and clean and wonderful and simple. And yours, you got so much going on.
Because I put the opponent, and I'm not
Sun
a
Belt
serial killer
Championship,
like you.
SEC Championship. We don't need all that. Jake Retzloff, 40+. Yeah, look at that. Come on now. Crew, I mean, I'm doing my job, making it easier for everybody behind the scenes.
Listen, you're dramatic. You get over yourself, okay? Let's move forward to tonight. What do you got?
I mean, we're just still sitting on Chargers +3. We had this. We talked about this on Monday of last week. There was a first play I made going back to last Monday. Just been sitting on it all week long. It was just a number grab. Maybe we'll get back to that 3. We'll see if that's the case. And we're still sitting like 2.5 right now. But took 3 with the Chargers, and that's what it will be today.
I'm not doing the SGT. I'm sorry. I'm just going to stay off of it tonight. This is going to be
because it's not your idea. That's why.
This is going to be a watch and learn game for me. Well, listen, it wasn't my idea yesterday with the Titans, and I stayed off it, and I'm glad I did. So simmer down, okay? trying my best here. This is going to be a watch and learn game for me. I want to see what Justin Herbert looks like here. I want to see what the Eagles look like, quite frankly, because it has been off and dealing with the Jalen Carter injury, him not available now, Lane Johnson out yet again. What does their rushing offense look like? I don't know. So I don't have a lot of confidence, honestly, in either one of these teams right now. I agree with you that I'm not 100% sure what exactly warrants the Eagles being near field goal favorites in a cross-country trip when they haven't looked good. But I also don't like the Chargers enough necessarily to play it. So stayed off of it for me. Anything prop-wise you want to get off of your chest? I know not official plays, but anything else you like before we go?
I do think the Hampton rushing yards, to ask him to essentially get 40, I think seems like a tempting proposition considering I think that's going to be the strategy for L.A. But the fact that, again, we're in one of these crowded backfields where, you might split carries, who's going to get the primary, the brunt of the load, if you will, and who's going to take that. It gives me pause enough to sit back, but I do think we can see a scenario where Hampton goes over that number. It's a very short number as well. They're going to run the ball, right?
36 and a half, the yardage, 10 and a half, the attempts number, where you sit right now.
But last time, look, they got lucky last Monday night because the strategy was like, hey, they're going to run the ball against the Giants. This offensive line's beat up. The Patriots, of course, are going to. And then they really didn't, actually. Drake May was throwing it all over the place. Henderson still got that longest rush. But I do wonder if this is going to be it with no Carter out there and a bad defensive line. A bad rush defense, we'll call it. It's got to be the strategy, I would assume.
Last couple minutes, we did do our full reaction to the College Football Playoff Selection Committee rankings. We talked through what those first-round game spreads are going to be and just some early thoughts and leans, but we haven't mentioned where the national championship odds currently sit. And Ohio State, despite being your 2 seed, is your favorite to win it all, plus 240. Indiana, your top seed, very close, just a 10-cent difference, plus 250 there. Georgia at 6-1. Oregon plus 750, Texas Tech 8-1, and then we get out to the double digits. Texas A&M 18-1, Alabama, Ole Miss, and Miami all 25-1. Oklahoma, I did think it was interesting that Oklahoma, despite it only being a 1.5 point spread in that opener, is that big of a price difference with Alabama from 25-1 to 55-1, and then James Madison and Tulane sitting 600 and 800 to 1 respectively.
So, do you have any path that sticks out to you?
So we were kind of talking about this yesterday. It feels like that top of the bracket a little bit coming out of the Oregon, Texas Tech side seems like it could be the more
somewhat chaotic, like more variance with.
I think a little bit. It just feels more unknown than some other spots. What did you think?
So you're disrespecting Indiana, is what it sounds like. You're disrespecting the 1 seed. That you don't think Indiana can just romp through every single one of these opponents.
Very good. I think they're a very good team. Very good offense.
Typical media.
And I think maybe this, not typical media, but I guess maybe to an extent that they just haven't had the cachet historically. So I think on the surface, just look at them a little bit differently, whether you need to or not.
I think that I would be somewhat surprised if they did not beat the winner of Alabama, Oklahoma.
I agree. Because, I don't think that's the thing.
Neither of them are playing well.
No, neither one of them are playing well. Alabama's got all these injuries, too. Granted, they do have a couple weeks to heal up before they face Oklahoma, but against that defense. But what's Oklahoma doing offensively? A whole lot of nada. So I think Indiana gets out of that. But then it's a matter of between Oregon and Texas Tech, who do you get? And I feel like that side of the bracket just feels more winnable than the one that has Georgia, Ohio State, Texas A&M, Miami, Ole Miss, even with the coaching mishaps, still got some fun, exciting players. So that's how I feel. I don't know how you see it.
If I was going to look at this and go, all right, what path kind of sticks out to me as somewhat favorable, and I'm a big Lanning guy, Oregon, I think, does have a manageable path. Obviously, James Madison there. I think Texas Tech is very good. We'll see. I think when you get to an opponent like the level of Oregon, when you're getting a little bit tighter, what that looks like. Their defensive line is great, but so is Oregon's. Where you get a pretty, a game in which Oregon, I think, would have a shot to beat Texas Tech, obviously. And then from there, you'd have to take on Indiana in the semifinal. I assume that's going to be the case. But Oregon, I think, does have one of the paths that does stick out to me. Yeah,
we mentioned their national championship odds, again, plus 750 to make the CFP title game, a plus 280 price to make the semi, minus 105. Obviously, they're a big favorite in the first round, but what would that spread be against Texas Tech should they make the quarterfinal?
Probably pretty close to pick, would it not be? I think
I would expect
Tech would be
that.
Maybe a slight favorite.
So, maybe the 105 to make the semifinal. I don't know if that's advantageous or not.
No.
Based on that concept, I would say probably no.
I also do wonder, as we brought up, and you witnessed it again to bring it back, that month layoff might mean something, man. You get an Oregon team that's played, whether or not it's a blowout, it's a CFP game, and then to have a much shorter layoff to get ready and just you've been greased up and ready to go.
Also, in addition to the CFP, we got a lot of bowls, and those numbers are available as well. So we'll dive deeper into those as the week goes on. That's a wrap for us today.
Bowl guide coming out.
Yes, bowl guide coming out this week. Make sure you keep it locked right here, though, because Follow the Money coming up next with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard. Nick Whalen talking some fantasy. Warren Sharp, the real mustache of the network, coming up and giving you some of his betting opportunities into Monday night.